finger it from the bottom, finger your camera. I'm sad to say that this is going to be the last ever video and photos that I do with the Nikon D700 because I am selling it. Not because it's not working, not because it's not any use, it's just that I'm not using it enough. I'm using my Canon 5D Mark II all the time, or my iPod or my GoPro. This has been just not getting used that much. But what a lot of people always say is, like whenever we've been talking about some of the other cameras I'm thinking of getting, specifically the Panasonic GH4 and the Sony A7S, I tried the A7 the other day and I was like, the camera body is just too small. And some people have replied back saying, yeah, that's true, and you can get like an extra battery grip on and all that kind of stuff, but then that kind of defeats the point of it being a smaller camera. But the thing about this is its size. It is a little bit heavy. Here I've got it with the Tamron 24 to 70mm f2.8 VR lens, which is an astonishing lens. I absolutely love it. But just when you look at the size of it, it is 4 fingers, so pinky there can happily hold it. I can hold it without having to take grip with my thumb, and the other thing is I can hold it at the side as well. That's how big the actual the grip is. In fact, it's so well balanced with this lens, I can happily balance it on one finger. And I mean, like, I can really balance it, like it's not going anywhere. And that's one of the things which having a good grip, not necessarily just a bigger one, but a good grip, means if for some reason you've gone from holding it one hand and it's just slipped out your hand but you've only got one finger holding it, then you've got that little safety mechanism. The other thing is, so the body is solid, it's pretty heavy, you've got to have strong fingers, but it's well balanced with something like this. So this is their, what you call a standard zoom, a 24 to 70, which is a standard zoom. But this is a chunky lens. This is about 700 gram lens, but when I do this, it balances well. And the Canon 5D Mark II does the same job. Here I've got the Canon 5D Mark II. This is it with the 16 to 35mm lens. So I would say the grip on this one isn't quite as good. It's got a little bit of an indent, which is more comfortable for holding, but it's a little bit more slippy. But again, both these cameras, the size of their body and the size of their grip is an important thing for me to be able to just grab it and gun it. The other thing about this is its frames per second. So if I put it on manual, all that kind of stuff, if I were to take photos, the Nikon D700 can do 5 frames a second, which sounds like this. Not bad. What the D700 also does is that if you get an extra battery pack, which clips into the bottom, you can stick this in, and all of a sudden, not only do you get the benefit of now having a much bigger camera, but yet at the same time still able to finger it like that, and also now I have the ability to finger it from the bottom, finger it in at the bottom, and I can hold it sideways like that, nice and easy, and it's got the buttons there if I want to change the focus, the autofocus button there, and change the aperture or the shutter on this extra button. So this battery grip is awesome. However, listen to what it's done to the frames per second. Nice, yes. So it takes a lot. It goes up to 7 frames a second, and that is with autofocus as well. It will slow down if you're doing auto ISO or high dynamic range, if you're doing it in JPEGs as well, and the buffer does fill up pretty quickly if you're shooting RAW and RAW plus JPEG. But if you hear it there, oh, sounds good, sounds good. So yeah, when you'll hear a lot of photographers talking about, it's not about the megapixels, it's not about the dynamic range or any stuff like that. A lot of the stuff about a professional camera is about how easy, how solid and how safe it is to use without it falling and breaking and all that kind of stuff. And the fact that having a good grip cannot be cannot be expressed enough, saying that a good grip is very, very important to be able to get all my fingers in there, and not necessarily just good grip, but a good grip which is balanced with the size of lenses. In fact, I could probably couldn't, but I'm going to try, put the 70 to 200. Actually, not that bad. So here I've got it with the 70 to 200 VR1 f2.8 lens, and again with this camera I feel quite okay holding it like that. With the Sony, you're such a tiny little camera that you're touching tiny little buttons. It doesn't seem to really work with this size of lens, and with the Sony you still need massive lenses. And again with this, obviously it comes with what we call a tripod collar, so if you're putting it on a tripod it sits there instead of on the battery mount. But again, it's that ability, okay, it's totally weighted down the way, but it's weighted not to the point where it's falling off. So I can go one finger Nikon D700 70 to 200mm lens, and it's, you know, it's not falling off left or right. It's solid, and I'm sure some of you are watching this going, can't wait for the outtakes, the bloopers where Dom's totally dropped this. But that's the thing, it doesn't. So a solid body, a rigorous body. It survived me several weddings and some other stuff. It's not been used too intensively, but it's given me a lot of confidence in use. So that's one thing I say. If any of you that are buying cameras and you go, oh, I've got one which is really small, it's like, that's great, but you know, sometimes you just want to just go and finger your camera. I'm so using that as my intro to this video. But yeah, so some of you will totally understand this, like, yeah, totally, don't care about megapixels, we all have enough megapixels, but having a camera body which is both weighted and the right size, and you know, just feels like it's made out of the quality materials which aren't just going to slip out your fingers, then that really is what professionals go for. That would be why something like the Nikon D3X is still £3,000 if you're buying it second hand, because they're solid. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm selling this today. There's a guy coming to pick it up, and I hope he enjoys it as much as what I have. Nightclubs, weddings, low light situations, portraits, especially with this lens. He's not buying it with lens. It's just an astonishing camera. I definitely rate the Nikon D700 as one of the best ever cameras, without a doubt. And Nikon realised that they made one of the best ever cameras and have not made an update to it yet. Yeah, they've got the D800, yeah, they've got, which I would say the same, but so much more expensive, and 36 million pixels and all that kind of stuff. This, 7 frames a second. Oh, so good. But no video, no flip out screens or anything like that, but just a solid workhorse of a camera. That's the thing. These are workhorses for everyone to use. So yeah, this is my farewell to my Nikon D. Do you know what? I actually suspect in the future, if I do have a wedding, which is going to be a low light situation, I might be renting one of these for the weekend to do it. Fool! What a fool I am! But I'm just not using it enough to warrant having it when I could be investing the money somewhere else. So there you go, Nikon D700. Goodbye. Goodbye. And just in case you ever wondered what would be the equivalent shutter speed of the Canon 5D Mark II at its fastest, let me show you here. This is it at its maximum frames a second. So not bad, around about 3-4 frames a second. 7 frames a second, that's the business. Extra interesting point that some of you might see is, maybe you can't see him, he's just heading off to his car out there. The guy that just bought the D700 off me also used to own a D700. He works in a company where they've got D800s, D610s, and a couple of D700s, and he's saying in the company he just takes out the D700 for everything. So I'm like, maybe I am going to be totally renting out the D700 again in the future. Maybe it was a bad move. But at the same time, oh, just Feels so nice. Feels not often I can do that.